There are certain actions and certain things in this world that are considered a universal sign of love, like a rose, giving flowers, holding hands, hugging. But what if somebody doesn't like receiving flowers? What if somebody doesn't like roses? What if somebody doesn't like holding hands or hugging? How do you appease that person? How do you make that person feel loved? Definitely there might be other things that you could do, right? In today's video, we are going to be talking about the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. Honestly speaking, if I were to recommend one book to all the married couples or all the people who are looking to get married, this would be it. Because I feel like this book has a lot of solutions to a lot of problems that people, especially couples, go through. This is specifically for people who are in relationships, but I feel like if people who are looking to get married, if they were to read this book, I feel like they would go in marriage with a mindset that is more accepting of the other person. So basically, this book talks about these 5 love languages. I feel like in the past few years, the concept of love language has grown and has sort of been talked about a lot. I knew about these 5 love languages. That's why I was first skeptical about buying this book. I was like, I don't need this book because I already know about the 5 love languages. But then I was like, okay, let me just read actually what the author talks about. Like just like any other language, like there are so many languages in this world, right? There is Urdu, Hindi, English, French, German, you name it. There are Spanish. There are so many different languages in this world. And just like if you talk to a person who doesn't speak English, but you don't know their language, like suppose I talk in Urdu and you don't know Urdu, then you won't be able to understand me. And if I don't know English, and if you're talking to me in English, then I won't be able to understand you, right? Similarly, the author says that there are love languages, and there are 5 of them, and they are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So there are 5 love languages, and the author says that in order to understand the other person better, you have to understand their love languages because everybody has got a different love language. And in order to have a prosperous and a healthy and a loving relationship, you have to understand the other person's love language, because it's not necessary that the partner you have chosen to spend the rest of your life speaks the same love language as you. In order to have a more understanding relationship, understanding marriage, you have to understand the other person's love language. And that's such a unique kind of idea because I never really thought about it from that perspective. Let's first talk about these 5 love languages. So words of affirmation is basically that. Some people, if you say nice words to them, you praise their work or you are thankful for their work that they have done, then they will feel loved. So words actually have the power to change an entire setting. You can use words to build up a person and you can use words to break them down. Using words in a kinder way and using humble words to build up a person and also to encourage them, that is appreciated by the person who has words of affirmation as their love language. The next love language is quality time, and that means that the person enjoys your undivided attention. It doesn't mean that you have to spend your entire day giving that person your undivided attention, but that just means that you should take out some time out of your busy schedule to spend a few good moments with that person. According to the author, quality time doesn't count you are together and watching movies, or you are together and watching shorts or reels or YouTube videos or whatever. Quality time is when you give your undivided attention. You put your phone away, you put your laptop away and just speak to the person or listen to that person, or like having quality conversations, deep conversations. Some people say that I like having deep conversations. So understand those cues. It could also be quality activities, doing something together, finding hobbies and doing them together, even when you are not interested in that hobby. And then comes receiving gifts. For somebody whose love language is receiving gifts, it doesn't matter what you give them. Maybe you went on a walk. I'm quoting the book. So maybe you went on a walk and you saw a feather, and that feather reminded you of that person. So you picked that feather up and you gave it to that person, and you're like, okay, this feather reminded of you. You don't even have to say it, according to the author. You don't even have to say it, and you giving that feather to that person would probably mean the world to them if their love language is receiving gifts. Because if their love language is receiving gifts, then it doesn't matter what you give them. Even the smallest and tiniest of things would make them feel loved. The next love language is acts of service. So basically it means that doing things that you know that the other person would appreciate you doing, or doing things that you know that the person would love you to do. So it could be anything, maybe vacuuming the house, maybe cooking something for dinner, or it could be anything, any act of service that you know that the other person would love you to do or would like you to do. And then finally, physical touch, maybe holding hands or maybe hugging. So those were the 5 love languages. Extremely short explanation of those, but that's what it is all about. So these 5 love languages are the core and the basis of every relationship. If you understand your partner's love language, then the author says that most of your problems would just vanish away into thin air. And then not only that, he talks about these like different dialects, like how in different languages of the world you have different dialects. Similarly, he says that there are different dialects to these 5 love languages, and each person speaks a different dialect. So for example, somebody's love language is quality time and their dialect is doing activities together. So understanding that their love language and the dialects of their love language will help you pinpoint exactly what you would do in order to make the other person happy. Because the ultimate goal in a relationship is to have a happy and healthy and a peaceful relationship. You don't want a stressful life, you want a peaceful life. So in order to attain that peacefulness, you have to understand your spouse and their love languages, and especially the dialects of their love languages. So basically 5 love languages, there is a website for it, and you can take a quiz where you will be able to easily understand what your love language is. So it's like you can do it together. It's for couples, it's for single people, and it's also for children, I think. It's a great way of understanding human beings, in my opinion. However, I do have some questions. I feel like love languages and not being able to understand those love languages is not the only way why marriages fail, or why relationships fall out, or why there are tensions in a marriage. You know what I mean? Like, is that the only difference between a happy and healthy marriage and a marriage where both the parties are extremely miserable? Is that the only difference? I feel like there is so much more than that. I'm not talking about violence or any other stuff. That's just like extreme end of the spectrum. But in like normal setting, some people just don't match, especially in arranged marriages. Some people just don't match. And so what? Do people not being able to understand each other's love language, is that the only like core problem of that marriage? If they are able to understand the love language of each other, will that turn around their marriage and they will become super happy and content in their relationship? Also, what if one person is the only person who is making all these efforts, and what if the other person is not willing to make any efforts? But all in all, I do find that this book, if read with an open mind and if read with the understanding of having a better tomorrow, it has a chance to change relationships and change the entire set of mood of relationships. So give this book a read and do let me know your thoughts. With that note, we have come to the end of this video. I will see you guys in the next one, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.